Okay, so first of all, we would like to welcome you to our webinar where we will be discussing TMF risk management in TMF operations and how we safeguard success. So my name is Kiran Sakon. I've been with LMK for 2 years as a TMF consultant, and I'm located in the UK. I have over 15 years experience in international clinical research, including project management. And my specialties include TMF setup, management, migration, alongside process development and system management.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Ravitz. I'm located regionally in North Carolina, and I've been with LMK for 3 years working as a TMF consultant. I've been in the industry and worked with TMF for over 15 years, working with multiple platforms, processes, and organizations across the globe. Today, we're going to talk about why it matters to carry out risk management and key goals, and identifying risk as well as types of risk, proactive strategies to help minimize TMF risk. We'll also discuss the benefits of risk management. And lastly, we will conclude with some takeaway messages. During this webinar, there will also be some voting polls and questions at the end, giving you a chance to participate. So let's get started with our first poll. How confident are you that your organization is inspection ready? And I'll give you a few seconds before the poll ends. Oh, look at these numbers coming
Oh, wow.
in. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
it looks like the poll stopped. So, yep, 40% were at 50% saying we're working on it. And that's awesome. That you're working on it and conducting regular reviews and seeing, and another 36% were at 75%. So just look at how far you've come. It's good when you have those robust SOPs and your other TMF documents and they're finalized and in use. So that's absolutely awesome. There are several risks within TMF operations that can delay trials, they harm compliance and impact outcomes. So, to prevent these issues, proactive management is a must. So, what you want to do is build a resilient TMF and its operations through early risk detection and mitigation. So, that is the key goal here. Um, you know, Looking at timelines and completeness issues in metrics, since this would be a major and quite critical audit or inspection risk. Looking at compliance risk, missing, incomplete, outdated documents. Maybe you're finding that everyone's not adhering to SOPs. That's a big one. Quality issues, maybe some inconsistent filing, to name one. Um, Lack of training, maybe there's training needed or retraining. And then system and access tools. Karen, what are some common TMF risks you have observed?
So I would say that some common TMF risks for me would be including missing or incomplete documents from certain functional areas or regions or sites. Also, regulatory non-compliance, so blinded and unblinded documents and content, personal health information, and also consistent misfiling or inconsistent filing. And then poor organizational version control, where nobody really knows what tasks they're responsible for, where a process is located, or even if the process is up to date. So we should always take some time to assess the risk. So here at LMK, we have a RAID log. It's a risks, actions, issues, and decisions log. So it's essentially a risk management plan, and it's useful for all projects to identify and track and resolve any issues or risks. Um, Also, we're frequently tracking and reviewing metrics, and we like to really focus on document completeness and timeliness, and of course, document queries. So we're just going to get into the second poll now. So let's bring up the second poll. And what would you say is the current biggest risk in your TMF? So we'll just give you a moment to input your answers. So would you say it's missing, duplicate or incomplete documents? Perhaps it's non-contemporaneous filing, or even inconsistencies in the metadata, or outdated, missing SOPs and lack of team training. Perhaps it's everything, or are you just still trying to figure that out? Okay, we've got some answers here, good answers. Okay, I mean, I guess everything is a big risk in the TMF, and this is where we really need to focus on ensuring that we have processes in place. Everyone is aware of their responsibilities, all the processes are up to date, and things where non-contemporaneous filing. So we really want to make sure that the team, the vendors that we work with, the CROs, anyone who's collecting and filing documents are fully aware of the timelines, and they are filing the documents within the agreed processes. Some great answers there. So we do want to consider some proactive strategies that would help an organisation. Shannon, what would you say are some proactive strategies that help an organisation identify and assess risks?
Yeah, some proactive strategies I would use are I would work to identify and assess risk by conducting regular TMF health checks and KPI monitoring. So that would include checking your metrics to look for trends and issues and being proactive about resolving them. So you want to mitigate your risk. You want to have good quality control. You want to have those standardized workflows and robust tools that allow you to really streamline the process. And you can mitigate these risks by appropriate and regular training. You always want to take action by conducting those regular internal reviews of the TMF, which are tracked. With your SOPs and plans, a big one there is making sure that timelines and escalation plans are in place. Another critical one that comes to mind is making sure that the TMF RACI is up to date. Everybody that's involved in TMF's listed, and they know what they're responsible for. Also, by performing frequent quality checks and having a validated TMF. Just by tracking and managing your progress gives you that ongoing accountability and transparency needed, allowing you to manage those risks and issues. Another one that is a big one is documenting your lessons learned over your course of project. You see something didn't work, in one thing, then maybe it's time to change it. Then you've got your periodic TMF audits or even your internal reviews where you can even consider like a risk-based approach.
Yeah.
And the key to these is to fix the issues, across the different types and functions. And it could open it up in that risk-based review where you are maybe looking at only a couple of countries and sites, and you get in there and you go, wait a minute, we gotta look at more. So it's really good to take that approach. And then training and fostering a team of culture of risk awareness and TMF health is critical. With that effective training, users are more likely to identify issues early and address them effectively. A big one is to always share your information and your status with your key stakeholders. It's good when you work together. You've got a lot of functional lines, you've got a lot of document users. So there really are so many proactive risk management strategies, it's important to also set expectations and clarify your project requirements and scope, and to develop and document those examples.
Yeah, Shannon, I agree. And I really like to work in a proactive way. And for me, I would say that the benefits are being inspection ready, um, findings during audit, so having fewer findings, but also time and cost savings to reduce rework, and then having an oversight of the TMF and a really good, robust oversight as well, which would be demonstrated by the sponsor or CRO. Better quality and completeness, of course, and then reduce time, work, and panic when it's close to preparing for an unexpected inspection. And then great preparation for study closures, so fewer findings, not having to focus on a last minute scramble and collection of documents which are not in the TMF, and then that would result in fewer file notes, and most importantly, the success of the trial. So let's get into our last poll for this session. So we're going to bring up the poll. How frequently do you conduct TMF risk-based reviews? Perhaps it's at certain milestones, quarterly, as and when you find an issue. Would you even say never, or just whenever you can fit it in? Okay, so we've got some answers coming, so we'll just give it a few more seconds. Yeah, so I can see some great responses here. So at certain milestones, that's fantastic. Great if you're doing it quarterly, but absolutely if you can try and bring them a little bit more frequently. Never. Okay, so really you just want to try and make sure you've got all those processes in place, and try and conduct a TMF risk-based review, evaluate your findings, and then see what you can do to move forward if you need to put more processes in place, etc. And whenever you can fit it in. So again, you just want to make sure that you are doing these regularly and as frequently as possible to ensure that you are TMF ready at all times. Okay, let's get into some questions. So if anyone wants to submit some questions via the chat, and we'll just answer some questions. Okay, I feel like we've got a question coming through now. Okay, so if there are no questions, we can wrap it up. So you can also submit your questions to us via email, and also they will be available on our LinkedIn page and also the LMK website, alongside with our contact information. So I think we've got a question coming through now. So risk-based QC, does this mean that you don't have to QC all the documents in the TMF? Not necessarily. With a risk-based QC, you can perhaps do a percentage, so like a 10% or 25% of the document. So for example, if you are doing it every 2 months, you could perhaps do a 25% of the documents within the TMF of a review. And then just doing that every a couple of months, for example. And then you can perhaps, when you're doing those reviews, pick out things like if you've got high enrolling sites with issues, perhaps any specific functional areas that you want to focus on, or even things like blinded, unblinded documents or SAE reports and things. So you can really sort of think about the number of documents you want to review, and then where the areas of focus, but then also making sure that you are documenting this. So putting together trackers and SOPs and processes and keeping them, and then kind of adding to that as you keep doing your reviews. Oh, we have another question. So this is a really good one. How do you get your teams to accept the TMF is a priority? So Shannon, I don't know if you want to jump in here, but for me, it's a non-negotiable. The TMF is so important, and we need to make sure that we have all our documents in order, we're ready for inspection, because we just don't want any inspection findings.
Yeah, I think just to add to that too, that's where the RACI comes in.
Yeah.
Because if it's documented, this is your role, this is what you're responsible for, then you can hold them accountable for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Everyone fully understand and aware of their priorities and their responsibilities, and it should be widely accepted that the TMF is top priority.
And the thing is, everybody's working on the same outcome, right? You want all your documents to tell that story. So everybody's working on the same outcome. We want those quality documents in their own time and none missing.
Okay, I think we'll probably go with one more question. So, as I mentioned earlier, the rest of the questions and our contact information will be answered via email. And just as a reminder, this session is being recorded and is available on our LinkedIn page and the LMK website. So, Shannon, did you want to pick the last question?
Sure. Can you read it to me? I can't see them.
Yeah, okay, I'll pick one and we'll go for what is the time frame it should take to load documents in the TMF?
So, as soon as a document is considered final and fit for use, it should be uploaded and submitted to TMF. It depends on, what type of workflows you have going. Maybe you have a first QCer and a second QCer who then gets it to approval. Typically, you should be able to get a document from unclassified to approved within 4 to 7 days with no issue if you have that first and secondary QCer. You also have to take into consideration too any QIs that might come with that document and getting that document fit for use.
Yeah, and also if you're kind of referring to where a document is collected, it meets all the Alcoa standards, and as Shannon said, it's considered final, and you want to get that in the TMF as well. So we want to ensure that we are filing as soon as possible. So don't let a document sit on your desk and think I'll do it in a week. Push it through as soon as you can. But I would say something like 2 weeks from collection up to 2 weeks is a good a time. But also I have sometimes seen 30 days as well. But really, whatever your process says, if you've got the document on your desk ready, then just push it through. Okay, so as I mentioned, the rest of the questions and our contact information will be answered via email. I do think that just about wraps it up on some quite important points that we spoke about today.
Yes, we discussed proactive management and how it ensures smooth TMF operations and compliance. We explored consulting and training to strengthen your processes. Remember, processes and procedures should be documented in a TMF plan, including how the TMF will be maintained, closed, and archived.
Perfect. Thank you, Shannon. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Also, please be sure to join our fantastic colleagues Louisa Monica and Hannah Brindisi on the 11th of March at 11 a.m. Eastern, that's 4 p.m. UK, as they discuss empowering your team, so TMF training and competency development. Register now on our LinkedIn page.
We really hope you were able to take away some key points to assist you with your proactive risk management effectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.